You're going to want the winter jacket and it looks like even the snow boots for tomorrow. Most of us into the 60s. You have to go to the other side of the lake to find some cooler weather. 40s in Benton Harbor, 50s from South Bend to Valparaiso out towards Gary. That's because of a northwesterly wind blowing in that cooler air off the lake. The fog, that's pretty much confined right along the lakeshore. What it feels like as you step outside, still into the 30s area wide, so grab the jacket before you head out the door. The rain moving in across southern portions of Illinois and Indiana, but this will continue to work its way north, collide with some cold air, and that's why we're going to see some snow here. So not a very nice day for the second half of the weekend. Cold rain, wet snow and wind, but it doesn't stick around too long. Warmer for the work week with rain and a few storms. We'll time it all out for you in a few minutes. Because of Matthew's close proximity to the east coast of Florida, not too far offshore, estimated wave heights anywhere between 20 and 30 feet. If the center of the storm moves very close to Cuba, the circulation could get interrupted because of the mountains and the higher elevations here. That could make for a weaker storm prior to landfall in South Florida. Rain on the first alert live Doppler radar this morning. Marco Island, you're getting hit with a couple of showers. The rain is not going to last long for you, though. Seeing this area expanding and working its way towards the water. We did see some pretty impressive rainfall amounts, though a little bit of localized flooding. Radar picking up on an estimated 100-mile-an-hour wind inside some of these thunderstorms. We can time this line out here. It's moving between about 15 and 20 miles an hour, but if this strengthens anymore, I wouldn't be surprised to see this speeding up a little bit. Note from St. Pete, Tampa up to the north where we're going to see some really impressive rainfall amounts. These are through Monday night. A little bit more manageable in the range of 2 to 4 inches for us here in Southwest Florida. This storm, this tornado was only on the ground for 2 minutes. If you're concerned about storm surge and you didn't evacuate, that is something that you really need to think about even changing your mind maybe this morning. We can look at what's called the volume scan, so we can see kind of inside of the storm and we can see how tall that thunderstorm is. So you can see it's weakening a little bit now, but here would be about 30,000 feet. You can see that this storm is still producing some lightning, some rain. Not a concern for us here in Southwest Florida, but kind of neat to look at there. And after your car's been in the sun for just 30 minutes outside, that inside temperature is 124 degrees. I got a question on Twitter this morning about heat lightning. Well, there is no such thing as heat lightning, but what I want to show you is way down here farther to our south this morning where we do have some showers and some thunderstorms that over the last hour have been producing some lightning.
Kristen Kirchhaine is still looking at some of that high water. Kristen?
Yeah, and this is what we talk about. We're not talking about widespread flooding across Collier County. We're talking about localized flooding, and that's what we have in this area here. We are on Ridge Street in Collier County, which is between Goodlet Frank and US 41, and you can see across this area in this neighborhood where we're dealing with some of this localized flooding. The people across the street here, you can see the back tires of that truck are submerged. Just the mailbox sticking out here. Couldn't ask for better weather to be outdoors this morning. If you had 80-mile-an-hour winds at the ground level, those winds could be as strong as 100 miles an hour on the 30th floor. We've been up here for about 8 hours now, but this isn't the end of the story by any means. We're going to touch back down. The plane will refuel. There's another crew of people waiting to take this aircraft right back up into the air. We're out here today at the Naples Municipal Airport, part of the Hurricane Awareness Tour. Today here in Naples, this is the 5th and final stop on the tour. One of the captains who actually flies one of these planes. This is Captain Jason Mansour. Thank you so much for talking to us. Jason, what do you want people to know about this event that's happening here today? Today is kind of that day we've been talking about. Are you going to make the decision to stay, or are you going to make that decision to leave? And if you're going to stay, any of that prep needs to be done by the end of the day today. See some issues out on the rivers, and so that's something we're really going to have to keep a close eye on. And if you live near one of those rivers, be on the lookout for some of those rising water levels.
All right, Kristen, thank you.
Kristen, every weekend we learn something new with you. We're kind of peering over, amazed at you calculating your forecast over there.
I wish they could have a camera during the break, because Lucas and I often sit here sipping our coffee, chatting, and Kristen's
like,
always over there, like, and she had these cool graphics, and we're like,
measuring
what are you
the
doing?
height of the storm.
Yeah, so we're going to look at that because this is kind of cool.
She's
This
the
is
smart one of the group, right?
Exclusive coverage now from the NBC2 Hurricane Tracking Team. You've seen the satellite pictures before. Tonight, we are literally taking you inside this tropical system. This is video you won't see anywhere else. NBC2 meteorologist Kristen Kirchhaine has our exclusive report.
Let's track out 135.
135, come right.
They are a crew of men and women
100, just come left.
given a task like no other.
We're going to be sampling the wind at our altitude as well as the low levels to figure out whether the storm has strengthened.
As long as it's still closed off, it's still a tropical cyclone.
The NOAA hurricane hunters fly directly into tropical storms.
Most importantly, we need to get the Hurricane Center information on its current intensity so that they can now issue new advisories and new discussions.
We have Arc Center.
There you go.
We just went through the expected center of the storm.
Multiple passes through the same system are made to attain the best data.
We just made a turn.
Here it goes.
Data that has to come from within the storm.
Each one of these sondes that we drop gives us better data to close that cone of uncertainty, the prediction cone that you see on TV that the weather forecasters are talking about.
All in an effort to keep you safe.
We know what the storm is doing now. Hopefully we can get a better prediction so all the people that are in harm's way.
At times,
We're about to fly into what is supposed to be kind of the most convective corner,
the ride isn't so smooth.
and this will probably get bumpy.
But this well-trained and dedicated crew hardly notice. Our mission didn't conclude the storm had intensified.
There's just not the wind speed to give us that kind of white capping motion and make me think that this is picking up in intensity as of right now.
But it was in constant flux during our flight.
It's moving slower.
East is something new. And now we also have some shower activity on the northeast side.
The storm was evolving, as it will continue to do through the rest of its life in the Gulf of Mexico. And as for the view,
That's beautiful.
it's like nothing you've ever seen.
As the sun starts to go down, our mission is coming to an end. We've been up here for about 8 hours now, but this isn't the end of the story by any means. We're going to touch back down. The plane will refuel. There's another crew of people waiting to take this aircraft right back up into the air.
Kristen Kirchhaine, NBC2. Tomorrow is going to feel like winter. The rest of the week, the work week, really looks pretty good for us here. Let's go ahead and take a look if we can check in on the regional satellite and radar. What you're going to end up seeing here is this big weather system still a little bit farther to our south, bringing rain, thunderstorms, and severe weather across parts of the southeast. We've got tornado watches in effect across parts of Alabama, Mississippi this evening. For us, this rain is going to continue to work its way to the north, and that rain is going to end up colliding with some colder air, and that will mean for us we're going to see a cold rain and also snow. And yes, we are going to see accumulating snow. You can see the rain has made it to central Indiana, central Illinois. Again, it's going to continue to lift north. We'll time it all out for you here with Stormcast. As we move through the next 3 hours or so, it's still going to be dry, but as we get closer to 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, we start to see some rain and some snow moving in. Some of this snow is going to stick for us. Mostly, I think it's going to be on grassy surfaces, elevated surfaces, bridges and overpasses, but on a lot of the pavement, that pavement's relatively warm, so I think it's going to have a hard time sticking. As we move towards 9 o'clock in the morning, many places dealing with the snow. Farther south, I think we're going to see more rain mixing in. The temperatures will be a little bit warmer. As we get towards 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the snow is still around, and it will be heavy at times for some locations. What we're going to end up seeing, it looks like, is some banding setting up. So we'll see some heavier bands in certain areas, and that will lead to heavier snowfall rates. Could reduce visibilities if you're going to be out driving tomorrow at times. And again, some of the roadways, especially the less traveled roadways, could end up becoming a little bit slushy. But again, I think it's mainly the elevated surfaces where we're going to see that accumulating snow. By 7 p.m. on Sunday, some of the snow still around. But as we work towards Sunday evening, the snow is going to become a lot lighter in nature. And as we wrap up the day, the snow is largely going to come to an end. This particular model showing anywhere between 1 and 3 inches of snow. Again, less as we get farther south. I think a little bit more as you head farther north. A few select locations could see up to 4 inches of snow. But this snow is not going to last long. By Monday, temperatures are back into the 50s. I think by late Monday, we could see a little bit of rain here. So chance for showers late in the day on Monday. Tuesday, you can see the model keeps rain a little farther to our north. I think we could see a couple of showers here on Tuesday. And as we head into Wednesday, morning, afternoon, and in the evening, we're going to keep at least the possibility for rain in the forecast. 35 for an overnight low tonight. Clouds thickening up already. Rain and snow start while you're sleeping. You'll wake up to some of that as we start the day tomorrow, and it's going to continue through a good portion of the day tomorrow. Rain, wet snow. Again, we are talking about some accumulating snow. It's going to be windy. Wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. It means that feels like temperatures throughout the day will be in the 20s. So you're going to want to bring that warm jacket with you. But again, doesn't last long. 50s by Monday, 60s Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday could get to 70. But I think we will see some thunderstorms and then a little cooler as we move from Friday into the upcoming weekend.
Doesn't last long. We're just going to hold on to that phrase there. Thank you so much.